I'm Lindsay Evie, and this is my crash course video. Today, I'll be talking about the Disney princesses. No, I'm not going to talk about every single one of them, but I will be talking about a few. I'll be looking into the movies Frozen, Tangled, Princess and the Frog, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, and Snow White. Each film has a princess or princesses that is either idolized or hated by the public. I want to see what is the difference between the modern and the older Disney princesses. Why are each treated differently? I'll be starting off with this video with the first 3 Disney princesses. And as any little kid who watched them, especially a girl, they would have wanted to be just like them. A beautiful young woman who eventually got everything she wanted in the end. To be honest, even though I don't want to be a Disney princess anymore, I wouldn't mind being like Cinderella and Snow White. Well, responsibility-wise, to be honest.
My younger self wasn't completely wrong in liking the first 2. For Snow White, she was 14 and she was already like a second mother to the dwarfs. And because of that, she taught the dwarves responsibility. But sadly, even though being a housewife is tough, it seems that's all she will be. But it's still rewarding and it teaches women to be responsible. And people, you have to remember, those were the roles for women back then, in the 1930s. And in Cinderella, she's working almost every time she's on screen. I mean, there's a song about how hard she works, and she never gets a break. But people think she's cowardly for not leaving. I will say that could be true, but she still puts up with her stepfamily. But in the end, both princesses got their rewards for their hard work and kind nature. They did more than Sleeping Beauty ever did in her movie. Ever.
But I will sadly admit the earliest Disney princesses didn't do as much as the modern princesses. The modern princesses were more proactive, they became more independent.
They took action, they had more deeper personalities that are more related to the audience.
Alright, so here's the thing though, I'm still puzzled about. Even in the argument I just gave about Snow White and Cinderella being also good role models to people, there's still a lot of princess hate in the world. Now thinking of it, we've always been a bit princess hate. Even I kinda hated princesses for a while. Then I start thinking, why is there so much princess hate? Why does princess make people think that they can't do anything? Then I realized something earlier this year. I found out that it is the title.
When we hear the word princess, we automatically think young and beautiful women. But there's more to it than just that. It also means that they have some power, but not all the power. What I mean is that none of them ever become queen. Sure, the modern princesses have their excuse on why they're not queen yet. Tiana had her restaurant to run, Rapunzel's parents were still around, and in Arendelle, Anna couldn't be queen because her sister already is. The first 3 princesses, they didn't have an excuse for why they didn't become queen. And the reason for that is because we're anti-queen. Queens in Disney films were always depicted as the bad guy. I mean, none of them were really good until Elsa came around, but in the beginning of Frozen production, she was originally going to be the villain, yet another add to the evil queens, but thankfully they didn't. So with the first 3 Disney films, Queens were seen as evil because they had too much power, and then a princess took the throne, which would mean that she would just keep her title as princess, and thus she wouldn't have too much power and leave everything else to the king.
And speaking of the man, I've been wondering, why do the princesses in the first 3 films always, marry him right away? And do the modern princesses fall in love right away with their man?
I mean, the princess in the early Disney films would only share a 3-minute musical number with their prince, and by the end of the film, they would end up getting married and live happily ever after. But in the modern princess films, the prince and the princess don't fall in love right away. They take time. For example, in Princess and the Frog, Tiana and Naveen saw each other for the first time, and she really could have cared less about dating Naveen. So Naveen just walked away as if seeing she wasn't interested in dating him. And again in Tangled, when Flynn met Rapunzel for the first time, he tried to flirt his way out of the situation, but instead he ended up doing what Rapunzel wanted. And with the end of Tangled, Flynn said that they waited a while till they actually got married. And lastly, with Frozen, with Anna and Hans trying to get married at the time when Anna thought she was in love with him, Elsa says,
"Fine. You can't marry a man you just met."
The Queen of Arendelle herself just said, "You can't marry a man you just met." She literally threw the rule about marrying a man you just met out the window. Even Kristoff, the guy that Anna ends up in the end of the film with, agrees with the Queen. And with the end of Frozen, Kristoff and Anna don't marry right away. They take their time and just wait until they see where it goes.
Dear Princess Aurora, you're a lot of the cause of why feminists hate Disney princesses. I mean, your only dream is for a guy to come and save you and do everything. From Lindsay. So, in conclusion of this video, the modern Disney princesses and the earliest Disney princesses were completely different, but they still
inspire us. And sure, they don't inspire us the way that the modern princesses do, but they inspire us to be kind and caring to one another, which Disney has been teaching us since day one. So generations from now, people will still be watching Cinderella and Snow White along with our modern films.
That's right, manipulating snow. I'm the best at that game, which means you're under my control, cause that's your stupid name. And who eats an apple a stranger gives ya? And who needs a man to save and kiss ya? I'm savvy, strong, single, and so independent. You're the weakest role model, why I am transcendent. You're a forgotten bygone, yes, time is the cruelest. I'm the newest, the boldest, and literally the coolest. So step aside and hide, go find a cottage to clean. You're one ditzy princess, I'm a mother queen.